faithful. Heavenly Father God, we give ourselves to you right now, Lord God. May you guide us. May you be with us in everything that we're doing. We lift up Charisse to you, Lord God. May your shining light, Lord God, embrace her. May you lift her up, Lord God, and may everything that is good come out of this and be exalted. And may your name be exalted most highly. In the name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, is your guy MDK, Mr. I woke up like this.
Hey.
Apparently, I'm not allowed to say I'm your boy because I'm a grown-up man now.
Thank you.
So therefore,
I don't know how many times you're actually going to say that.
well,
You're not allowed.
It's just my intro. All right, today, ladies and gentlemen, I've got, I don't know if it's the queen of Amapiano, or if it's the goddess of Amapiano, or is the landlord or the lady landlord of Amapiano.
My goodness.
Or is it the princess of Amapiano? I don't know. She goes by the
Ma'am.
name Charisse.
Yes, ma'am.
How you doing? You good?
I'm very well, thank you. How are
I'm
you?
good.
Yeah?
Which title are we giving you? Because there's
I
like the
think
kings.
let's just
and
go
the
with
queens.
Charisse C. Yeah. She's Charisse C.
Charisse, yeah? I'm going to ask you guys, please, let me know. Are we calling her the queen, the princess, the landlady, landlord? Or are we calling her the goddess of Amapiano? I don't know. So, Charisse, there's somebody watching this show and they're thinking, who is this beautiful, gorgeous individual on Finding the Signal? How would you introduce Charisse to the people?
I would say Charisse C is a DJ, an artist, a producer, a storyteller. Just an all-round creative, somebody whose journey has gone through many evolutions to arrive to where I am today. Now a singer-songwriter also. Yeah, I guess you'll get to know more about me throughout this podcast.
Wow, brilliant. Now I'm going to ask you one question. Where did me and you meet? Do you still remember? The first time we met.
Wow.
If you don't remember, it's okay.
I
I'll
don't
remind
remember
you.
the first time. When was the first time?
Do you still remember Room 28?
Room 28, yes. I was at a couple of them. The boat party?
The boat party.
Okay.
Do you
Was
remember
that the
that
first
day?
time? I remember that because they did two of them, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the first time. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I've got evidence that I'm
Okay.
going to show you.
Oh, no.
It was a coincidence that when I was taking the video, you just happened to be on the shot.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna show you.
Okay.
We're gonna play it. We're gonna play it on the big screen if Miss Anonymous can find it for
I was
us.
having a good time that day, so I don't know what I'm about to see.
Finally, we got there. Room 28. What was going on in your life at that time?
Yo, what year was that?
Ooh.
If I was bold, it must have been like 3 years ago.
Probably.
About three, maybe 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
But that was like, I guess the early, like fresh out of lockdown.
Yeah.
I think 2021 it must have been.
It must have been 2021.
It must have been 2021. And it was kind of the early days of Amapiano becoming this really big thing in the UK.
Yeah.
I would say. And I think, everyone was kind of pushing, establishing themselves, figuring out their lane.
Yeah.
Like I said, I met one of my closest friends on that day. And it was summer. We were just having a
That's
good
dope,
time.
yeah. Were you like really DJing at that time, or were you just starting off?
Yeah, I started DJing in 2017. So by then it would have been, what,
4 years in?
Yeah, 4 years in.
Oh, wow.
Into my career, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Now, that's the video that I was talking about on the video. Anyway, tell me about Charisse. Where was Charisse born?
I was born in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
And then my family moved to the UK when I was 3 years old.
Okay.
And yeah, I've pretty much like been in the UK for most of my life. Like we would go back home to Zim and to SA. Like I could count when I was young, maybe about 5 times. It wasn't something we were able to do frequently because of money. But then in my kind of adult years of life, pretty much for the last 4 years, I spend say 4 months of the year in South Africa, and then I come back to the UK for like the summer here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you go to the UK, or when you were young at that time, was music in your life? Was mom and dad playing music? Was one of them a DJ?
No. My dad was the real music lover. Like my dad loves music, and I think the earliest or the most significant memories I have with him were in the car. Like he used to love playing music in the car, and he's probably the most like eclectic music listeners. Like my dad would play everything from reggae to kwaito to R&B and like anything that he really was feeling or enjoying at the time. And he had friends who were DJs, so they would like make CDs and have like mixtapes and stuff, and he would play them in the car. And then my mom really is more gospel, like so we were listening to a lot of South African gospel in the house. And then she also loves R&B. So the one thing they both loved was R&B. That was the one thing they had in common. And then I had an uncle, one of my uncles, Augustine, Uncle Gus, shout out to Uncle Gus. And he used to like help me. So I used to make playlists. I used to write them down on paper every week. And I'd give it to him because he used to pick me up from school. And then he would burn them onto CDs for me. So like every week would be like Charisse Volume 1, Charisse Volume 2. So that's how I began collecting music like that. And then I had like, you know those days you'd have those big bags with the pockets. So every time I'll just put the new one in my little pouch. And I'd keep. And so it became like a timeline of what I was listening to from volume 1 to whatever volume we ended on. So I think those are the 3 in those like early times of me growing up, places where like my understanding or influence of music was coming from.
And apart from music, did Charisse have any other dreams? Like, what did you want to be when you were young, before the music thing?
The first thing was to be a singer. That actually was the first thing I had. So it's funny coming back to it now. But that was the first thing I ever wanted to do. But I got shy at some point. I was really confident as a kid, and then when I came into my teens, I became quite shy. And every time it came to the point of having to perform is when I would like get scared. But I would sing in school, I would sing in church, like I was in the choir for a while. And then I really wanted to be a fashion designer. I used to draw, I did art, I'm quite good at drawing. And I would draw like design my own clothes and draw ideas. And I think I just was always a creative kid. So even my dad would know, like I remember stealing like loads of like A3 paper from my dad's office and like folding in half and like making my own like catalog, like what would be like a Charisse C boutique, and it was inspired by Bratz. I called it Styles High because
Styles
High. So it was that, and then I got really into photography at one point because when I went to uni I did photography, media and textile, so I learned to sew as well. So I was making stuff, and then when I was about 16, then it all came together. I loved writing as well. So like I'm very much a writer. I had a blog when I was 15. So I used to like style myself, take my own photos, post them, and then write about the outfit, or I'd use it as a way to talk about things that was going on or connect what I was wearing to the music that I was listening to, or just I wrote a lot to I think make sense of life as well. Like just figuring out who am I in the context of the world that I'm in? What am I seeing? What am I learning? Like, it was my only way to be able to take things out of my brain and make sense of them. So I used to write, and then I was able to connect worlds in that way too. So I think in some way, everything that you see is like Charisse now has always been there in different elements, but I've had phases where I was really wanting to be a photographer. Then I really wanted to do, then I used to make my own videos and like edit them, and my friends were always like my muses, and so I really am just like, I'm an artistic kid.
So
like
you're a creative, they call them. Let's talk about the confidence part. What do you think happened when you were confident and then something happened? Did you experience something that traumatized you? Did somebody laugh at you? Did you go on stage and you sang and people didn't respond? What happened?
I think it was less of like one like big traumatizing thing, and more just, so I grew up in Reading. That's where we've moved around a lot, but that's where I lived for the longest time of my life. And my first like school that I went to, like first went to a private school, and then from there we moved to another place, and that was a school where we were always the minority. Like, you count on one hand the amount of like black kids in the school. And I think for me, I've really come into being confident in myself now, but I just always felt like my presence took up a lot of space.
Okay.
Like, I'm tall, then I'm also a black woman, and then I came into my body really early as well. So you just always felt like everything about me just always stands out. And as a kid, it's hard because you just want to fit in, and you just want
to be normal like everyone. You
just want to be normal like everyone else. But it was so hard for me to be able to do that because everything I did in some way was noticeable.
Yeah.
And I think I also was just interested in a lot of things that maybe not others were interested in. So I ended up spending a lot of time investing and immersing myself in these little worlds that I was in, with the things I would write or the photos that I would take. And I think although Reading, it's a small town, not as small as other small towns, and especially because it is connected to London. But that's also why I always wanted to move to London, because I felt like I saw more people who were like me
in London.
Oh. And so from when I would sneak out of the house and I would go to my favorite artist shows and like literally just always want to be there. And I felt like that would be the place that I would find myself or find people that were more like me. But I think I just always felt a bit other in a way, and it made me want to do, like, I remember it was a period I was wearing black a lot. Like, I just wanted to, like, I hated that.
Like, you're wearing black right now?
Yeah, I mean, today. But today this is a choice. Like, I'm not hiding, you know? Yeah. But it was really just, like, everything that I could to just not take up so much space. Yeah. Which is the opposite of the core of who I am and the opposite of what I am now. Because I'm very much just, like, I'm loud and I'm present and I'm, really stepping into all of who I am. And if it makes people uncomfortable, it makes them uncomfortable. Like, that's not something that I refuse to take that on as my burden at this stage in life. You know what I mean? But I think as like a 13, 14-year-old, like you just, I didn't know how to contend with that really. And
how do you deal with criticism? Like you're saying now, you're out there right now, you're a DJ and you play music, you're making an album, you're doing things that require people to approve that this is dope.
Yeah.
How do you deal with criticism?
I think whatever I create, I have to like really like it first. I have to be really, really into it.
Yeah.
I think, I think people always have something to say, and like everybody is entitled to their thoughts and their opinion. But if at the basis I did this because it felt right to me, it's what I actually have experienced, it's what I want to say, then that's fine. Like it's fine. Like I don't really... Whatever happens beyond that is fine. Like, it has nothing to do with...
It's beyond your control,
I think the only time I could really be concerned about that is if I've done something that I know wasn't true to who I am.
Yeah.
Or I'm selling a lie or something. But because it's always honest, I'm like, there's nothing you can critique about the truth. Like, do you know what I mean? It is what it is. As for technique, I'm very much open to... like technique, skill, all of those type of things. I'm very much open to learning.
Yeah.
I've never been too like... above being taught. Like I'd like to think I'm a very teachable person.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful to have had a lot of people who have guided me or seen that, like, and I've learned a lot from my mistakes. I'm also not ashamed to make mistakes.
Okay.
I think that's something that shoots a lot of people, where it's like you just want to be perfect all the time, but like no one is.
Yeah.
And there's always something new to learn, and that's how you get better. So I'm really open to being taught, to being shown new ways, better ways of doing things, and adapting and picking up from those lessons and the mistakes that I make. But it has to make sense, right? I think you can tell when someone is critiquing you from a place of care or honesty or genuine opinion, or when somebody's just trying to like put you down. And you kind of learn to have discernment between those two things. So like some things. But then one of my friends had also said to me something which is also valid, where it's like sometimes don't take anything in too much, whether it's like the positive or the whatever, because I think in this industry, especially the bigger and the more visible you get, there are more and more voices that have comments to say about what you do.
Yeah.
And if you're taking all of that in, it can really create a huge like chaos in your mind.
So it messes you up.
Yeah. So you always have to have your center, and I think your core people that you consult with, like your core circle that you trust, and and take everything else with a pinch of salt. Like you can't take it too
hard.
Too much to heart.
So you have to know how to balance it, basically.
It's a balance, yeah. There are balance that I think a lot of us are always still figuring out. I don't think you ever like perfect that balance. I think because it changes as well over the time. You just keep adjusting and refining.
Wow. Okay, that's brilliant. Now let's talk about the DJing bit. When does Charisse get interested into, you know what? I want to do this thing.
Yeah.
Who was inspiring you at that time?
So her name was Lauren Platt.
Okay.
So I was writing about music first. I went to uni to do journalism when I finally moved to London.
Yeah.
And then I think from when I was like 15, I was writing about music. I got my first job writing for a music blog. So I was sharing music in that way as a writer.
Okay.
Then when I got to uni, I went to the University of the Arts London, and I met a woman called Lauren Platt, and she had been to my uni previously before and had been running a night called Work It.
Yeah.
She stopped it at like 10 years, but she was like, had begun it in the kind of early into the peak era of what the like Dalston strip was. So like Visions, The Nest, Birthdays, when all of that whole culture in Dalston was very much alive.
Yeah.
So she was running this night, and she wanted to kind of support a group of students with the journey that like from coming from university into the working world.
Okay.
Because I think sometimes the reality of the working world and the reality of being a student can be quite different. You know, how do you apply what you've learned in real life?
True.
So she really just opened up our worlds in a lot of ways. And my partner at the time, he was a DJ, and he really, really helped me a lot and really invested also into this passion that I had. And so the first party that I ever played was in 2017, and it was our own night that we'd curated with Lauren, and it was at Corsica Studios in Elephant and Castle. And then she booked me and my friend Felinda to play back to back at the Work It night. This was at Amira in London Bridge. And then I just really loved it, and I stuck with it. I kept going with it from there, and we started doing more of our own nights, and she opened up us to the world of NTS and Boiler Room, and we did, I think, our second party at the Boiler Room office in London. And I just really loved it. And I was falling out of love with journalism as a job anyway. And I just, I was like, I really like this thing, so I'm going to stick with it and to see where it takes me.
So your first event, you're DJing. How confident are you? How's the music? Do you know what type of music you want to play?
Yeah.
What kind of music did you play?
I was open format. I played everything that I liked. Honestly,
like
anything
R&B,
that I liked. Anything. R&B, hip hop, Afrobeat, dancehall, house music.
Wow.
Like anything that
Kwaito.
And honestly, like I had no literally like anything that I liked would go into that set. And but I think I'd seen so many DJs who I also really liked, especially in that era of London, who had, I think it's a real skill. That's such a special skill, and I think somewhat maybe a rare skill.
True.
To be a DJ that can play such a wide range of genres but make it make sense. Like from beginning to end. It's not it should be chaotic, but it's not. But I think that really comes from their understanding of music. Like you really have to spend a lot of time with it, because they would do something like, and I would watch, it's like pick up a note from an R&B song and use that and loop it to transition into a house song. So like it's not even beat matching necessarily. It's more looping off of a sound or a key or anything like that.
Because then it's familiar to the audience as well.
So it's like they'll use like a chord or something like that where we know that chord, but that chord is also used in this song, and then you're like, oh, and then it's like this, So I just really played everything that I liked, but I think at some point, which I would say maybe was end of 2018, I just felt like I was playing like everywhere and anywhere because of that, like which was fine, but I just felt like I wanted a bit more of a direction of where I was taking things, especially as I was starting to get more serious about it. I was like, I think I actually could have a future with this thing, and I need to be specific about what it is that I represent, because even those that are like, they say like, I'd love like a soul action. Like as much as they are multi-genre, they have a sound, and they always had a sound, and they really defined a culture and a sound. When you think about, so at the time, one of the DJs at Mercedes Benson, she used to run these nights called Future Sounds, and there was a sound, there was a story, and I was like, I just felt like it's just everything Charisse likes. There's no story here. There's no curation, and I think I just came and I started DJing for House Gospel Choir. They used to do Sunday brunches. And so then I was like
Interesting.
getting more into the dance. And I used to play, before that,
Yeah.
I was playing long sets in the Ace Hotel lobby before it closed, like 5-6 hours I'd
Okay.
play. Then the guy that was curating there, Harry, was one of the main people for House Gospel Choir.
Yeah.
So he'd heard me playing, because by the end of the set, I would be playing more house vibes.
Okay.
So he was like, I feel like the music you play, like you would enjoy, like maybe doing the House Gospel Choir. So I was like, okay, cool, like let's do it.
Yeah.
And then within those sets, I was mostly playing like Afro house, South African house, like in between their like more traditional, obviously like house performance, and then
Yeah.
I'd like weave in other house sounds in there. And then I was like, okay, I feel like there's something here, and I was like, I think it's a bridge of the worlds that have made me, or the
Yeah.
worlds that have raised me, and like connecting what I've known growing up in this country, but also what I've known coming from where I come from. Like, how do I make those worlds meet in the middle?
Makes sense. Yeah.
And it was like, okay, dance music is definitely the direction.
Mhm.
And then end of 2018 was the time when then Amapiano was like starting to break through
Yes.
outside of South Africa. And it was like, so I think as the genre was doing this, like my career was also doing this at the same time.
Yeah.
Then lockdown hit. And then, so we
Ooh.
can then continue from there. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's really my journey as a DJ. I was doing everything.
Yeah.
And at some point just felt like I need a bit more focus.
Wow. I wasn't going to ask you about this, but since you mentioned it, let's talk about lockdown. So everything is happening for everyone. Lockdown hits, and then some people realize like they like drinking too much because they've got nothing to do. How was your lockdown without going too much into it? Because obviously it's too late to talk about it. Yeah. How was your lockdown experience?
Lockdown was how Abantu was born.
Is it?
Yeah, it was born. It was a radio show because
Okay.
No Signal Radio started in the lockdown,
Okay.
and then Jojo, who runs it, had reached out to me to do a guest mix, and I'd done an Amapiano guest mix, and then also I think end of 2019,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, now I'm really doing this thing.
Yeah.
And I made a mix. It was called 2020, and it was like a straight Amapiano mix. And I was like, this is what I want to start the year 2020, like with defining the direction of my sound.
Yeah.
Then obviously like couple months in, we went into this lockdown, and then I was like, okay, like now everything is just on a standstill. I don't really know where to go from here.
Yeah.
And then that came through, like the opportunity to do this mix, and he was like, do you want to do a radio show?
Mm-hmm.
And I'd been planning to quit my job at that time as well. And then I was like in this crossroads, I was like, this is probably a terrible idea to do this in a lockdown.
Yeah.
But I was like, I was really done with it, and I'd saved up a little bit as well.
Okay.
And then I was like, what do I want to do with the radio show? And because Amapiano was becoming this really, really big thing, but I just felt like there wasn't as much cultural context behind like the people, the music, the languages, like all of these types of things that I felt like growing up in the UK I'd had for, let's say, like Caribbean, Jamaican sound system culture. Or I literally remember being in school when Afrobeats was having this like trajectory moment, and that was a big moment like for all of us Africans. Like it didn't
Definitely.
matter like where
Yeah.
you were from. And I was like, okay, this is now like our moment that's happening.
Yeah.
Like who's documenting what's going to be the history, like the future, like history, you know, who's archiving,
Yeah.
who's telling the stories. So I was like, okay, Abantu, like this is like something that I want to create for people, by the people.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was doing that, and I had time. I had so much time because
There was actually
I wasn't
so much
working.
time.
Yeah, so I was doing every like what's it called? Every week, 2-hour show.
Okay.
And yeah, I was producing, I was doing interviews, and other people had time as well because they were at home. People weren't gigging. If they were gigging, they were, you know,
Yeah.
gigging when they weren't supposed to be. So it was like people would hop on Zoom, like whether it's like artists in South Africa, artists in the UK, they'd send me guest mixes because everybody just wanted to
be active or do something.
active.
Yeah.
So it really just grew so that by the time we came out of lockdown, like I'd had this whole archive of like 2-hour shows that I'd been making.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, now we know who Charisse, that story thing that I felt like I was missing before.
Yeah.
I had the whole of lockdown to build a story so that by the time I was now coming back as a DJ, it's like, oh, we know what she represents type of thing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And then you moved into making music because now you're DJing. You've DJed in so many places. Like I can't finish all of them. But let's talk about the, is it Raking Bassline?
Mm-hmm.
How do you then get to that? Who sparks the idea of, do you know what, I can make a song? Is it you? Is it the producer? Is it friends? What happened when it comes to that?
So PY Log Drum Kings, who Wrecking Bassline was made with, I was actually, I came across him through Cakes the Vibe, who runs like UK Yanos. Like he's up in Manchester.
Okay.
And they're like a really one of the people that have really been actually producing piano in the UK for a while. And he had a song with PY that I'd been playing. What was it called? I think it was called Amayaga Yaga, if I remember correctly. And I was playing it a lot in my sets.
Yeah.
And I was like, who's this guy? I've never heard of him. So I asked Cakes, and he's like, it's PY. So I was like, let me go check out more of his stuff. And then I got in touch with him. And I just felt like there was something about the bass line that was in that song that every time I would play it, the whole room would just go crazy. But I think he was making something that I felt like, I'm always looking for people that are, I guess, somewhat ahead of their time in some way. Or even if it's not ahead of their time, like, you're just making things that are... Because I think it's very easy, especially with Amapiano, like how quickly things move and everybody wants a hit. That when one person has a hit, there's like now a million people that make
doing
a song to replicate that thing to try and get that hit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, until when, And so it's like when people make stuff that doesn't sound like anything else and try to take the risk, you know what I mean?
To be different
because that
as
makes
well.
the next wave that we then all catch on to. Because at some point people do catch on.
Yeah.
But there has to be that person that just does
brave enough
to do it.
Yeah.
So I was like, this sounds really, really great. And then, I was like listening to more of his stuff, and then I was playing his things, and he was sending me more music. And he was like, thank you for pushing my music.
Yeah.
Sending me more stuff. And I was like, I actually would really love to. No, he suggested it actually. He was like, I'd love to work with you on something, because I hadn't released music at that point yet.
Okay.
I was like, you know what, actually, let's do it. Like, let's work on something.
Yeah.
And then, Wrecking Bassline was the first one. And I remember, I was just like, this is insane.
Yeah.
And you could see it was, because again, it was the one song that up until now, people are still discovering it. But that today, it still sounds like something, I don't think there's a sound like it.
Wrecking Bassline.
Yeah, it still sounds a bit ahead of what its time was, because it very much was in 2022 when we released it. So... yeah, that was Wrecking Bassline, and the name was literally just came off of what it sounds like. Like it's quite
because I remember it was one of your one of your favorite songs, wasn't it?
Absolutely,
yeah.
Like it was on my every playlist that he'd ask. Give me 3 songs. Wrecking Bassline was always on the list.
I love that.
But I think at the time she wasn't really aware as to who made the song, because I remember her playing it. I was like, that's Charisse's song, and just we just fell in love with it. Wrecking Basslines happened. It flows around the industry, and then you go to Evergreen. Now, how do you transition from Wrecking Bassline to, I want to do my own EP?
Yeah. So I guess Evergreen is this year, so it was like 2 years of no Charisse C music.
Yeah.
But throughout that whole time, music was being made and exploring. So in 2023, I released an EP with Gook Sister.
Yeah.
And that was the Ascension EP. And we'd been working on that for 2 years.
Okay.
We started working on that in the same year that I released Wrecking Bassline. But there were just so many reasons why it took us so long to get to a point where we could release a body of work.
Yeah.
But I really kind of took on the role of executive producer for the most part in that, really setting the tone of the stories, selecting producers, building the soundscapes, this is what, and we had a mission with that. Again, there was a clear story, there was a clear goal that we were trying to achieve with that project, and just kind of really stretching the boundaries of what this music, not even what it can sound like, yes, what it can sound like, but also the spaces that we can take up. I think, I was even saying to somebody yesterday, it feels like Amapiano is this huge thing, and it is.
Yeah.
But there is still so much out there in the world that service we haven't even touched yet.
True. Yeah.
And I think, I'm saying, it's somebody has one hit moment, and then all of us want to replicate that same thing. I don't think it gives us all enough. I think we can believe in our own artistic abilities enough to really dig deep and find what do you have to say, to share from your experience or from your interest that it speaks to you and isn't a replication of something else. But and just even just people who are really art, I think we can score, soundtracks of things. We can be in art institutions and galleries. We can be doing runways, so many things that I think about, and we were both interested in. I'm saying, I've always been an artistic kid. I went to an art school, so that stuff in my mind like has always been there, and I've seen people from all other genres doing it. So I'm like, why can't we do this with Amapiano? Like I don't see.
Yeah.
It's incredible music. Like it's clearly taking over the world. It's breaking ground. Everybody's obsessed with it. Everyone's like, oh my god, what's this thing?
Yeah.
So I'm like, so why can't we do all of these things that all these other genres can do, especially
To
in
explore.
dance? You know, house music, techno, all of these things are in these huge production festivals, and I'm like, we can do this too.
Yeah.
So that's really what we were trying to figure out. How do we, explore this in the music that we make also with the Ascension? And so we spent a lot of time doing that, working with different people, exploring different ideas.
Yeah.
And then, I guess at some point, because it took me about 6 months or so to work on Evergreen.
Really?
And I think I just got into a point where I was like, I'm not using all of the gifts that I have.
True.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm still hiding. And I was like, it's enough now. I think I got to a point where I was like, why am I not using all of the gifts that I have?
Yeah.
And I really just want to step into my fullness. And what we were talking about before we went on camera is just like, I've lost my train of thought.
Nah, it's okay. It's cool. We were talking about the music thing. I mean, from what you're explaining with Amapiano, like people can explore. I feel like, at school when you're asked to write an essay or freestyle, and I write about my holiday, and then you look into like. And then you're like, I was in Ibiza, and then you say you're in Ibiza, and the other one is like in Ibiza. Whereas people could just tell their own story. If you're at home chilling, you're at home chilling. It's fine. If you went for a walk with your granny to wherever, that's what you done. So I feel like even with Amapiano, that's what you're saying, that people should just be free to be themselves. Like MDK can make a song like this, and then Charisse make something different. So I understand exactly what you're saying there.
Yeah, and just really believe like in
yourself,
in how far that can go.
Yeah.
But I think by the time I got to now making Evergreen, it was just like really wanting to step into myself in my fullness. I remember what I was trying to say.
Okay,
we were talking about trying to translate your ideas through somebody else.
Yes.
And I think I was like, well, there's this gift that I have that I can really take from here to here, and I can write songs and I can record them and really get the stories that I want to tell across. So I was like, okay, this is the next step for me. And I was like, I really went into it so open-minded. And I think I also just really needed to go back to that 15-year-old girl that used to just make things for the sake of making things, because I managed myself, and like everything, I think people, I don't know what people think for the most part, but because there are so many facets of what I'm doing, maybe it can seem like there's multiple hands, but a lot of the time the strategizing of it, or the kind of all the behind the scenes admin or whatever, like I do most of it myself. So it means that like sometimes you don't get to just be creative and full stop. Like there's always an agenda or a goal, or this has to have this direction, this has to meet these targets. And the EP just allowed me to just sing and just make, and it was just like all I want to do, and the only goal here is to make something that sounds like me, and to express the things that I was feeling and experiencing in life at that time, and put it in music and get back to the core feeling of what it means to be an artist. So that was Evergreen.
Brilliant. I like that. Before we dive into Evergreen and analyze all the songs, we've got a little game just to ease things up. A little game. Can we do the internet one? The kick, slap, something like that.
Can we drink on camera, by the way?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, go for it. So if you can get that game ready for me and see who she's gonna kick, slap, marry, snog.
Alright, so between the three, so I'm gonna give you three names, and from those three names, choose who you're gonna snog, marry, or ghost.
Okay, snog, marry, or ghost. Okay.
Names would be Khanda, Xavier, and One Tubbs.
I love this,
guys.
I love this.
No, do you know why these things are technical? The industry is not. We all know each other.
Yes.
Okay. So
I didn't know this when I did this. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We didn't know these people, did we?
No.
No.
Snog, marry, or ghost?
Yeah.
Okay, disclaimer, they're all my brothers to start off. Let me say that. They're all my brothers.
And I'm going to cut that part out.
No.
All right, let's go.
I don't know how to answer this question.
Snog, marry, or ghost. Let's go.
Okay, I would marry Khanda Cool.
Oh,
Khanda Cool is a really wholesome,
Yeah.
kind, grounded, caring human being. Yeah, just a like amazing, again, brother to me, really amazing guy.
Okay.
I'd say I would snog Xavier. Xavier is the, like, we know him, the host, good times, fun times. You always know you're going to have a good time with Xavier.
Sure.
The party's going to be a fun time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then because there's no other option, I'll go as Tabo. But also, Tabo, I love you, brother Tabo.
Hey, yo, I'm explanation.
It's just like, I can't, I don't have any other option to pick.
Okay.
There's only one time.
Okay, we're ghosting one time. Okay, so this one is going to be kick, slap, or take home.
Kick, slap, or take home. Okay.
Wow.
So there's two negatives there. You're just taking one home.
Okay.
Okay, Mixolis, DJ Kwamzy or Zenze?
Oh.
Wow.
But now why am I fighting
Wow.
people, guys?
Wow. I had nothing to do with this game, people.
Oh, what a game, guys.
We don't condone violence. We are just playing a game.
The thing is, because I know some of the people, I understand exactly how you feel.
I know all of them. They all know me. So I'm just like, guys, you put me in a real predicament here with this game. There's no real reasoning behind any of them. I'm just gonna say, for the sake of saying
for the sake of
the
the
sake of the
game.
game, I'm gonna be a good sport.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll say I can't kick Kwamzy or slap him. That's my little brother, and I love him so much.
Oh,
so I'll take
don't.
Kwamzy home,
Oh.
and then we can say we'll kick Mixolis and slap Zenze. Guys,
Hey,
again, I love you guys. Please,
Who's getting the slap? Is it Zenze? The technical DJ is still making the effects. Slap. That is dope. That is dope. Have you got another one, or is it only two? Yeah.
Okay, the last one. Snog Maria Ghost. We'll go back to Snog Maria Ghost.
Okay.
Pori, Gabza, Jezik.
Wow.
Let's say marry Pori.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I feel like, wait, let me think.
Is it Snog? Snog?
Snog,
Mary
I
Ghost.
feel like
Slap Mary
Pori
Ghost.
would take care of you. I think he would be a good husband.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think anyway, I feel like he makes sure that you're
You're
taken
good.
care of. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Ngala ma hits.
Um,
Producer ma hits.
That's true.
Yeah.
yes. And then let's say Snog Jazzy.
Okay.
Also
Okay.
a really fun time. Also really lovely guy.
Oh.
And then again, because I can't do anything else, it's only Ghost. I'll have to Ghost Kabza, our
Hey.
king.
Yo.
The king.
yeah.
Asa tutasibe happy. Ay, suga wela.
We have to blame the curator of the game. Guys.
All right.
my
Miss
days.
Anonymous.
Hey, boo.
We're looking
I like
at you.
I like it. Thank you very much. They can't see you anyway. She's wearing a mask. We don't know how she looks like.
Thank you. I mean, really.
Let's go into the album. What's how many songs in the EP? Is it 4? Yeah.
There's
Four.
four. Songs,
There's 4.
Yeah.
What's the name of the first track? We've got. I know Money Sign is my
Angsafuni.
favorite.
Yes.
What's
Money
the-
Sign
is
a
it
total
Angsafuni?
thing.
Angsafuni.
Yeah.
So why did you call it Angsafuni? How did you come about with the song?
With that song. So
Yeah.
that song I recorded in South Africa with Mixolis.
Yeah.
It was actually the last song that was
Okay.
recorded for the EP.
For the EP. Yeah.
Oh.
And I'd been in studio with him, and so Shazmik is very much like deep house, soulful house, and he produced like a number of the 3-step songs that are on Devon Gogo's most recent album.
All right.
But he's also worked on a lot of like the Artwork Sounds project, so
Yeah.
you can kind of start to picture what his sound is. And he'd been playing me a lot of music.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think we started off with something else, and then he sent me the beat for what then became Angsafun. And like, I think I took it home and I just started writing, and it was a story I think that I was relating to at the time, but I also really wanted to make something that was like a nod to old school South African house, like
Okay.
to have that kind of the structure of the song, like the way that it moves. And I think, yeah, like I'm 26. Like
Yeah.
a lot of my friends are much older than me, like
Yeah.
in their like 30s, early 30s. And so I wasn't really like raving or partying to like deep house or whatever at that time. Like that wasn't my era. Like that whole soul candy era is something I know of through others, but that wasn't my time.
I get what you're saying.
So whenever I'm like, now like you still get to hear it like in parties when you're in South Africa. So it's like getting to party. It's like I'm experiencing what was the heyday. You know what I mean?
Our day.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm really picking up what makes this music what it is. And I just kept thinking, like, one of my friends, like Cook Sister Ulungile, like she loves the song. I can't remember who it's by, but it's like, I don't wanna go around, you know, the people walking by. So it's like so many songs where it's like, okay, like the beat is just really chilled and easy and nice and soulful, but you can like dance to it. But the lyrics are somewhat telling a story that a lot of us can relate to. And that's what, when I was watching people, when you watch people dancing, it's like they're just there like
enjoying
eyes
themselves.
closed, but the lyrics that are being sung, like, yes, like I hear you, like I hear what you're saying, sis, you know? And I wanted to make something like that. And I felt like it was something that I was experiencing, but a lot of women could relate to, like just getting to a point in a relationship, situationship, whatever it is, where you're just like, no, like I don't want this anymore. Like it's enough now. And like, and that, so I think the hook of the thing, where you just like have this one word that you keep saying, like angsafuni, which means like I don't want anymore. And it literally just came up. Like I wrote the lyrics at home, and then when I came into the studio I recorded them, and then we just kind of chopped it up and pieced the whole song together.
Right, okay. And we've got let's keep the second song because I think is my favorite. Can we go to the third song?
What I Need.
What I Need. How does What I Need come about?
What I Need, so I actually thought that was the second song, but Kwamzy told me that's the first song that we made. That was the first song that we made when we got into studio together, when we started this EP, because we've been working together before. But from the moment we said, okay, we're locking in, because we were back to back for like literally like 6 months until I went to South Africa. And then that was the first song that we recorded. So we got into studio, and he'd been making a lot of 3-step most recently and really enjoying it. So I was like, play me what you've been working on. And so he'd played me like a bunch of beats, and I guess that was one of the ones that stood out. But I really, like I was saying, I've always been a really like eclectic music listener, and I love like indie pop and indie electronic. And I wanted to I wanted the EP to each song to have a like one element of the different types or the different sides of me. So if it's an introduction to me, it's kind of, all of them have something similar, but they're all quite different. And I think to just introduce to the diversity of Charisse, and that as I grow or I evolve or maybe go to the next EP or get to the point where I'm working on my album, it's like also opening up to the different audiences that I know could connect with this music that I make.
That you make,
So What I Need, again, it was about a situation.
Wow.
And like, again, I just got into studio with Kwamzy and kind of based the feeling or the vibe of what I wanted to write about off the music, the production. It kind of was very moody, but also like hard hitting, and I just felt like really set the tone for what I'm saying in the song, which is basically like, like this isn't just about what you want, it's about what I need to, and I need you to be clear, like what is it that you actually want from me? Like I don't want to keep going around in circles type thing.
Wow, that's really interesting. I like that. We've got the fourth song. Is it the one with Captain? Is it? What's the name of the song?
Nguva Yangu.
Nguva Yangu.
Yes,
What does that mean?
So that means my time. My time in Shona. So I kind of picked the name of the song off of what Shingai was saying in the middle of the song, where she keeps saying this time is our time. And that one it was an emotional one, I think, for all of us. And I'd wanted to have at least one of the songs on the EP to be an ode to Zimbabwe. And so I called Lulas and Shingai to help me piece it together. I just had a feeling that we would do something really beautiful together. And they came into the studio, and I'd already heard the beat before I'd picked it. It was, again, Kwamzy production.
So did you already have an idea of what you want to do with it?
So I'd heard the beat, and when I listened to it, like it just had this marching feeling, like you're on this long journey and you're like pushing, you keep going, and the song progresses as it goes through, and it's like getting more and more intense. The production really starts to fill out, and I just kind of was just feeling like, like you're pushing, you've got a heavy load, but you keep climbing because there's a purpose that you're kind of going towards. And it's something that, again, I was really relating to. Like, last
Yeah.
year was a difficult year for so many reasons. And I just felt like, you know, the nation of Zimbabwe, I think, can relate to that a lot. Like, you know, that fight and that struggle and having to be resilient. And
Yeah.
because I know Lulas and Shingai personally, I knew that in each of their own experiences, there were elements of that they could relate to, aside from also being Zimbabwean. It just, as people, like, there are things that we've experienced that I know of them. And so I got into the studio and I played them the song. I was like, this is the song, be the production anyway, that I want us to write on. And I sat down with them and I'm like, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I've been going through. I want to write something that really, really speaks to this. And maybe each of us can write something and then we put it all together.
Yeah.
And we did. So the first part, I like Lulas had kind of set the, like, I'd set the melody. So, you know, underneath the whole song, there's like this constant like melody. So that was me. I'd set that and it just continues throughout the whole song.
Okay.
Then the next part was written by Lulas and she sang the intro. Then I went off into like a little room to write my bit because, like, it was quite emotional for me and I just needed a space to zone in. And then Shingai arrived and she was the last person to add, and that whole middle section of the song was empty and she filled that out. And as we were talking, like, I remember like there were tears shed and we were just talking about the thing, and then had a separate session with Kwamzy just to piece everything together and make it make sense as a whole song. But that wasn't Gua Yangu, and it's just literally like this time is our time, like, you know.
That's awesome. Because you were listening to the song and you said, what's her name? Shanghai? Is it?
Shingai, yeah.
Was she part of
the Noisette?
Yes.
the Noisette? Right.
She's an icon for real.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I mean, did she have more influence of the sound? Because when you listen to type of her music, did you try to incorporate her? The reason why I'm asking that, this is just in my opinion. When I knew that Captain was in the song, I had expected her to come in a different way because of the way I know her. But obviously she went like calm and singing, not like the hubbly bubbly person that I know. What actually influenced the mood of it? Did it have to do with you trying to incorporate Shingai's sound? Was that the...
Not really. I think that's exactly why I wanted Lulas on the song, because I think as a one, I don't think a lot of people knew that she could sing.
Yeah, no, I didn't know.
So, and I think too that because she's a host and she's a dancer, I think a lot of people know that bubbly side of her. But she's really intelligent and has like observant and thinks a lot about life and the world. And so when we were having these conversations, it was like I knew. So that every now and again she'll share things, especially on social media. And I was with her yesterday because we had an Abantu event yesterday. And we were talking about it because it was like I'm very observant, and sometimes people don't clock when I'm having a conversation. They'll be like, when did you see that? And I'm like, hey, I'll be in my corner, but I'm watching, and I'm always, but like from a place of genuine interest in people. Like I really just love people. And I'm also very interested in like artist development and working with people to kind of build on their stories. And so I was like, like I really want Lulas on this. I don't think people know that she's singing, but I would love for this song and this project to introduce a new side of her. Especially because I'd heard her voice on another song. I can't remember where I'd heard that snippet. But she was also singing in Shona in that song, and I was like, okay, she can write and she can sing. So I was like let's do this thing. And I think it was also just that the layers of somebody who's been in the industry for such a long time and has really been a big sister to myself and like friends of mine, and then me who's kind of like in this into middle part of my career, and then Lulas who's like killing it but is entering and stepping into this part of like, you know, people knowing her as a singer-songwriter as well, but at the same time I am. So it was like intergenerational in a way, but I don't think the sound was really necessarily influenced by Shin, because I don't think Shingai has really sung on a production like that before. So I also wanted her to come and do something different. And she was one of the people that I was DJing early on for as well, and like has really just supported. But at that point I wasn't singing. So at the time when I called her to say I'm writing this thing, it was quite a big deal for me, and I was so grateful that she pulled up, because I was also so shy. Like I remember when I'd written it and I was like, oh my god,
you don't know how it's gonna be.
I was like, do you like it? So because I just respect her so much, and like she's an incredible like singer-songwriter, and has also moved into the space of like launching her own label and going from being in the Noisette, one of the biggest like British bands ever, to then moving into making music that's more focused on home. And she's been spending a lot of time in Zimbabwe at the moment, and just really building around the country and the infrastructure and the music and supporting younger artists. So
Oh, wow.
And she's not releasing anything this entire year. So she was
Okay.
like, I'm about to go off for some months. This is the last thing I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And this is the only song that's going to be released with me on it, and it will be yours.
All right.
So it felt so special to me for so many reasons. Yeah.
Okay. No, that is dope. There's someone that you very close to. I'll see if I can call them if it's possible.
Okay.
This person is very lovely. This person is very bubbly. Now she might not pick up the phone because she said she was busy, but I said I'll try.
Okay.
Because she said there's something that she wants to tell you. Let me see if we can call her. Is it possible?
Yeah. Okay.
Do you want to put your headphones on? Let's see if
Okay.
we can
Just
get
a normal
through.
call, yeah?
Maybe WhatsApp. Let's try it on WhatsApp. Set it that way. Show it that way. No, we don't want to see it.
Oh,
It's a surprise. Let's see if she does pick up. She's not picking up. I'm gonna kill this individual. Oh dear. That's not our day today, is it?
Yeah, it's probably that moment she decided to step out.
Hello?
There you are. Hello.
Hey! Hey! Please don't move it! It's me!
Friend.
You want to step outside? You want to step outside because it's a bit noisy. It's a bit.
Hi, Granny.
Step outside for me. Step outside for me, please.
Okay, yes, I'm outside. I'm outside. You know, it's busy out here. I'm a friend. I like this Lumka. Like, what's going on? I love this Lumka.
Hey.
I'm like here for it. How are you? Oh, wait, how are you doing?
All right,
How
Granny, where
are
are you?
Friend, you know me. No, friend, I'm out and about. You know me, friend. I'm outside. I'm always outside. No, I'm at the Sunday roast.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it's the last one. So I bought a TV. So with me, I'm like, let's go have a good time. So
Oh, I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah. Listen, Lumka,
How are you doing?
I haven't even had a chance to say hi to you. How are you? Hey.
I'm just like, yeah. So yes, MDK, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I've got Charisse with me here. You told me there's something that you wanted to tell her, but I couldn't tell her. So do you want to tell her yourself?
Wait, what?
Do you want to tell her
What?
yourself?
Oh, but MDK, but MDK, when we talk about stuff, why do I have to tell her when we're together? What's going on?
Okay.
This is weird stuff.
Okay, no, it's cool. But is there anything that you want to say to you?
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to say to Charisse?
Well, wait, no. Well, I guess I have to tell you what's going on.
Yeah.
But, no, this is so awkward. Okay, okay, friend. I've been here for a while, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? And obviously, I've met someone really nice. And I can't believe I'm doing this out here. Like, he's really nice, friend, and we are planning on like starting a family.
She's starting.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, so I'm pregnant.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Well, I don't want to tell. Like, it's weird because.
Do you know what, guys? I know my friend too well, hey?
Lumka, she's not falling for it.
I know my friend too well. And look, maybe if it was someone else, but you know I know you.
Maybe come on.
I know her voice.
Lumka, she knows you too much.
I know
It
you.
didn't work. I thought it was gonna work.
I'm so sad. It didn't
She's
work.
like, nah.
I should have started crying.
Oh,
If I started crying,
congratulations,
you would have
Granny,
believed. She would have.
for your new family.
Like, yeah, what family? No, she knows.
I
like,
know. I can.
yeah.
Nah, she knows. She knows. Don't worry.
Too much.
Yeah.
Oh, that did not work.
This has, you have a new family, but you're grieving at Sunday roast. Like it's not. It's the dots. They're not connecting.
I literally just down. I just downed John Julio. I just downed John Julio right now.
I know. I can hear it in your voice.
Anyway, Lumka.
Okay, anyway, sorry.
It's all good, my darling. It didn't work, but there's something that you said to me, and you wanted to say to Charisse how much she's really of a hard worker,
Charisse,
and you wanted to tell her how proud you are of her.
No, the thing is, I know, obviously, I tell my friend all the time, she's honestly like the most hard working DJ I know, to be honest. She works so hard. And on top of that, she's humble. And I'm always like, babe, you're too humble. You're too humble. Because I would be like, my name is Charisse C. Maybe I step up. But no. Anyway, no, but honestly, like, friend, I'm so proud of you, man. Like, you've been working so hard. Like, since I've known you, like, you've been elevating every year. And I hope you can see that, friend. You've been, like, all your hard work is actually paying off. And people love you, friend. And people support you. And people are going to continue supporting you. Because it's fucking amazing. Wait, can I swear on this? Sorry, you can edit that out. Sorry, you can edit that out, yeah? She's amazing. And I can't wait to see, like, what's going to happen next year and the next year and the next year, you know? Yeah.
Brilliant.
And so I need to study again. Friend, when I'm back, I need to study. Yeah, I'm studying again. Friend, yeah. We need to, yeah. You know how it is.
Is there anything you want to say, Charisse?
So much.
Love you, friend. Enjoy Sunday roast.
All right, Lumka, thank you very much.
Love you.
Love you, bye.
Lumka. Oh, wow. He dropped it for me.
Oh, my darling.
You know what? Lumka's got energy. I tell you, like, Lumka is bubbly, she's just amazing, you know?
And I always tell her she must never change.
Yeah.
Aww.
I'm looking at the time right now. We're running out of time. If you can, there's few people that drop a message, one or two. Put your headphones. We're not done with you yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you can just play whichever one you can play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey Charisse, it's Mutsa. Surprise! I just wanted to tune in and let you know how proud I am of you and how far you've made it in your accomplishments. And I want to remind you that you still got so far to go, so many triumphs, so many wins, small wins, big wins, and I'm gonna be right there with you. Don't ever forget that. So yeah, I just wanted to say, you're doing amazing, sweetie. You're doing amazing. Love you.
Thanks, Mutta.
Wow.
Guys, you guys wanted me to cry today.
Is there somebody else?
Yes.
Give it to me.
Okay.
Wanted to say amazing work, man, that you're doing. You're opening up the industry for a lot of us. You're inspiring a lot of us to do bigger and better things. We just love the way the way that the way you move, the way you do your things, very intentional. You can tell that there's a lot of work that's come behind it, and there's a lot of intention. And yeah, man, I just appreciate everything that you've done for the scene, for opening up doors for a lot of people that would have not been there. One of the best to do it out there. So yeah, enjoy, man. Love the EP. Shout out to you and the talent that you have. May you prosper. May you keep going up and up and up. And we'll just be there to support you all the way. Love my sis. Love my sis.
Thank you.
Brilliant. That is kind of cool. I think we've got another one.
Yes.
Wow.
Hey Charisse, it's Mixolis. Just a quick message to say you're doing amazing. Don't ever stop. You are truly an inspiration to a lot of people out there. You're doing amazing. See you soon, and Abantu to the world.
To the world.
Let's
Thank
hold
you
it. Let's
for
hold
the
it right there.
way.
Wow. How does it feel?
It's emotional, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I
That's
think
good.
it means a lot. Yeah, to have people that see you
Yeah.
and support you, because it's not easy. Like, this journey has not been easy.
Yeah.
I was even thinking about it on the way here. I think it's only because of the community that I keep that I'm still here.
Wow, that's awesome. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get you on the podcast, because I've been watching you working. As a DJ, I can relate. As somebody who's hustling, doing different things, I can relate. I know how, it's not easy. Sometimes you might feel like you're not doing enough. Sometimes you feel like, you know what, this is not good. I should be doing this or I should be doing that. And you don't get to hear people tell you how proud they are of what you're doing. So that's why I wanted you on the podcast to just let you know that you're doing an amazing job, and we are really proud of you. You're inspiring a lot of kids out there, even older people, even male, females, whatever, So I want you to know that we do see what you're doing, and we are really proud of you. Now, one question I want to ask you: how would you explain working with Kwamzy? Because I wanted to get hold of Kwamzy, but I couldn't really get through. But if you put your headphones on, let me see what maybe I can work something out.
I think Kwamzy's preparing for his ministry gig today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I can try call him.
Hit it. Nah, don't worry. We got you.
So working with Charisse was it was a mind opening for me, because it made me realize the skills that I have to bring, build an artist, because I remember when Charisse came to me, Charisse was very shy, and she wasn't really comfortable with her voice, but I made her very comfortable with her voice, and then from there she started singing, and then we started working on the project, so I just want to say thank you to Charisse for trusting me and be able to work on this project with her. And for words of encouragement, I feel like she should keep going. She should keep going. I feel like she has an amazing voice, and more bangers to come.
Brilliant. Wow. This is dope. Yeah, you can take your headphones off. It's all right.
I love that. That's my little brother for real.
Yeah?
I love Kwamzy.
That is good. Because most of the people that I spoke to, I mean, they recognize your hard work. They see you as this nice, humble person. And I can see that you're not scared to share your information. As much as you're willing to learn, you're not scared to give other people opportunities, you know what I mean? Which is what we need more in this industry. And unfortunately, we are running out of time. There were so many questions for me to ask you. But unfortunately, because we don't have much time, there's one question that I always ask my guests. If there's anybody that you want to say thank you to that has played a major role in your life that you want to give flowers to, who would that person be?
Oh, God. For me, there are so many.
Yeah.
There are so many. Like, I can't say, like, literally there are a million names running through my mind. Right now, like, I'd say I want to thank my friends, and they know that. Lumka, Mutsa, Lungile, my cousins Benedette and Chiedza. So many people who, I think a lot of people don't know what goes on behind the scenes of a person's career. You know what I mean? Like, literally moving back home to Reading, and like last year, a lot of my gigs, like for me to be able to do them, I was pretty much staying at my friend Ulungile's place for the most part, or how my friends like Mutsa will drive with me to Manchester from London and drive back the whole road to take me to a gig, capturing things, sharing things. Lumka consistently showing up for me, like covering for me when I'm gonna cry.
Sorry.
I have a lot of people to thank. Like, I think my parents have really had my back in the recent years of my career. Someone like Kwamzy, who really dedicated 6 months of his time to work with me on this project, and not only as a producer, but being willing to teach me. And like you said, like I was so shy, and I think last year, like I said, it was a really hard year, and I was, for a lot of reasons, quite broken down. But I think Kwamzy just really created a safe space for me to be able to realize something that has allowed me to start this year off on a better note. I think I'm held by such a community who allow me to be vulnerable, who allow me to be loud, allow me to make mistakes, allow me to fail, allow me to grow. People who like Stenkosi, Kosi, I think a lot of people know him as Cozy, introduced me to a lot of people who have like really helped me. I think last year, especially negotiating a lot of deals and things that were really, really new to me, and suddenly becoming someone that a lot of people were really interested in, and that comes with, layers of the business side of things. And just kind of always being there as an ear to kind of like process things, to figure out things. And just like whenever I'm like at shows, people that will show up for me, friends, buy tickets to come to things, and they're running around behind the scenes to help me put things together, because like I'm saying, I don't have a team. So it's like running an event and then running a label and then being a DJ and then trying to make an EP. It's like I wouldn't have been able to do it without so many people. So I'm gonna forget so many names, but they know because I thank them all the time.
Wow. Thank you very much, Charisse. I really appreciate that. I'm sure people who know you, they will understand. Those who didn't mention their name, they'll really understand. But keep going. I would have loved to have more time, because we've got so many questions that we wanted to ask you, but unfortunately, because we've run out of time, we won't be able to do that. So can we play a song? Because we didn't get a chance to play the song, Morning Song. Let's close it with the
Our
song.
current favourite. Absolute favourite right now. Well done, girl.
But when I'm in South Africa, it like shifts. I can wake up in the morning, like I'm ready to go. I don't know if it's just environment, food, everything. But I was like, what does this make me feel like? Like this 5-6 in the morning wakes me up, and it's like I'm ready to go, and it's uplifting. It's like a grand rising. And I'm like, it's love. You know, love can make you feel like you can like be whoever you want to be, that you can conquer anything, that you're ready to take on the day. And it's like, especially when it's a new love and it's exciting and it's fresh and you're still trying to figure it out, but you know,
spoken like a true Leo.
Is that his signature when he says let's go?
Let's go.
Kwamzy,
that's his tag. That's his tag. So anytime you hear that, even a lot of the remixes I play, like I played the Destiny remix that everyone got really excited about, that's him. So whenever you hear that tag, that's Kwamzy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Is there any
questions?
Thank you
guys for coming, by the way, to the show. I really appreciate
it. Oh yeah, we didn't speak about was it Abantu?
Yes.
That was awesome.
Yes, when you released this song. That's
that
the time.
was the time.
We absolutely loved it.
I'm so glad.
That was so beautiful.
That was dope, man. Yeah, we had a good time.
It was so
wow.
good.
Brilliant stuff. Are we shutting it down? Are we closing it?
Yeah, we're shutting it down. Before we go,
yeah.
What's the tattoo? What does it symbolize?
Oh, the tattoo. It's of all my tattoos, it's the one that actually doesn't like really have a symbolic meaning. Her name's Jess, the tattoo artist, and she was doing she does these flowing lines specifically on joints in the body, and they're like thick graphic lines.
Okay.
But so that's like the masculine, but then the way that they flow and like adorn the body is meant to be like feminine. So how does she kind of balance the masculine and the feminine really? So she has her own theory, but for me, I just always imagine my hands being tattooed. Like I really like my hands. They're what people see all the time when I'm DJing. I just always imagined them having something that a hand tattoo should be like, you know what I mean? Tattoos can be quite, but I feel like all the ones I've chosen still maintain this like femininity, although they're like quite present. So that was that. Right. And then obviously we still green.
Yes, evergreen. Evergreen.
Well, we talk about the jewelry, or like these Ludumo styles.
Okay.
These pieces are from her. So I have Ubuntu on my left hand, and I have it pointing outwards.
Okay.
And then Togoza, but that one's pointing towards me.
You. Okay.
And then this is the most recent one that I got, which is Gida.
Wow.
So I have these three, and then obviously the green ones. But like these are pieces that are all from her. Yeah.
So is green your favorite color?
Green is my favorite color.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hence evergreen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Makes sense.
That's dope. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Charisse.
Thank you for having me.
And in the corner over there is my co-pilot. She goes by the name Miss Anonymous.
Yep.
And you know, it's your boy, Mr. MDK, Mr. Woke Up Like This, Mr. Marathon, Mr. Football, Mr. Teacher, Mr. Podcast, Mr. Everything. Please, thank you, like, share, comment. Please tell your friends to tell the other friends and the other friends and your neighbor. And if they've got animals as well, please let them know we are here finding the signal. Thank you very much for tuning in. Oh, tango!
And we're out.
Yeah, we good. I feel like we should have had more. We need to have part 2.
I know. I'm so sorry, guys.
Part 2 needs to come.
We'll do part 2.
Okay, stop.